Hello everyone, welcome back. We are making a vacation home for Hamlet today. He wanted a soccer field or a football pitch if you're anywhere other than the United States. I promise at some point we're going to stop talking about my trip to Dallas, but today is not that day. So, Thursday. Keep in mind, it's the last day of our business meeting. So, we had the roll call vote Thursday morning. I made it a point to get into the ballroom by 8:30 a.m. The one day that I get there when the session starts is when there's an actual sponsor presentation that goes over time. Somebody from Meta was there, you know, the people who own Facebook and Instagram, because pretty much like every blind and low vision person, that's an exaggeration, but like a lot of us, myself included, have the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and they were talking about those. I really genuinely did not pay attention at all. I think I was like playing a game on my iPad, but the Meta Ray-Bans are helpful for people like myself who are blind or low vision, in that like the AI is pretty decent at like reading menus or like cooking instructions, as well as like identifying objects and even being able to like integrate with apps such as Be My Eyes or Aira, like to call a real person to get like visual assistance. So she was there talking about the Meta glasses. I thought that we were going to get right into the roll call. I didn't recall seeing anything about a sponsor presentation that morning, so that really sucked for me. We did the roll call vote, and they also announced, like I said last time, who took the appointed position on the Board of Publications, because they like appointed a person. So that meant that we were officially done with our business meeting. We did adjourn. Sometimes there is a second roll call that has to be done in the afternoon if we have another election. Thank God today was not that day, because everybody was totally like checked out. I had plans initially to go out with two of my girlfriends for lunch. My boyfriend, I don't know where he had gone, but all of a sudden he called me. There was a New York deli that was like right almost next to the hotel. He was there with a couple of our friends and their parents, and they also went to like the grassy knoll, because our hotel was right next to the grassy knoll, you know, the one that's relevant to the Kennedy assassination. So he was there. I was still at the hotel at that point because I was helping with picking color covers for the Low Vision Affiliates newsletter. We do put out a quarterly newsletter, and it is printed in large print and mailed to people. Our editor, like our newsletter editor who is on the publications committee, she can't see color. Like her entire world is grayscale. There were like myself, her, and probably three or four other people, because we all had different degrees of vision loss, and some colors and contrast looked better to some of us versus others. So it took us a while, because we had like 12 or 14 different colored pages that had the front page printed on it to figure out what we were doing. And then it had to go through basically like runoffs and whittling down the 4 final choices for each quarter, because what we thought would be good wasn't necessarily good for my friend who can't see color. It took us a bit to figure that out. I then went back upstairs to get changed, because I had like jeans and stuff on because it was freezing in the hotel, and we had plans to go out somewhere. We were going to walk, and it was very stupidly hot out because it was Dallas in the middle of July. We ended up going somewhere that was fairly close to the hotel called City Tacos. It was like a literal hole in the wall. Their tacos were so good. There were a couple of stool seating outside on like the sidewalk, and then there were stools inside because it was open air, so there was like a window basically that we were eating at, and then like there were other people sitting on the inside, like on the other side, but it was all open. We each ended up getting different tacos, and then we all got like the guava Jarritos, that Mexican soda that comes in the glass bottle, because they had like a bunch of different flavors, and I saw that there was a guava one, and I was like, oh, guava. And like my other two friends were both low vision. One of them was the one who was the newsletter editor, and they were like, oh, guava. And so we all got the guava sodas, and then we ended up going back to the hotel, getting changed again, and we all went swimming. My boyfriend was back by then too, because he had left before me to get lunch. We all ended up in the pool. The pool at this hotel was really quite awful. I don't know why it was this bad. Like, I wish that there was a way that they could expand it, but I don't think that there is, because it's It's on the 3rd floor, and the 2nd and 1st floors are all convention space. The 3rd floor is as well, but there's also sleeping rooms there and the pool and fitness center. So there was like this really big, stupid, giant concrete concourse, essentially, that you walked out onto. There were things of cornhole, and then like you walk down a bunch of steps and there's another concourse, and then you're in like the pool, and the pool was like the size of an oversized bathtub. And there were also people outside painting the walls, like they were painting the outer walls of the space, because like we were on the 3rd floor. There was obviously like a concrete wall between the seating area and like the side of the building, and they were painting it, which we didn't know when we went down there. And also, allegedly, this is ridiculous, the pool was closed because their filter wasn't working, but there were no signs. The hotel didn't put out a bulletin or anything. Like there were no signs anywhere. Like even sighted people were there. Like nobody had any idea that the pool was closed. We all showered when we went back to our respective rooms because most of us were going out for dinner that night. And like I wanted to shower anyway because I felt gross, like being out and walking and sweaty and then being in chlorine. Again, not realizing that the filter wasn't working. My boyfriend and I and our friend that I mentioned earlier, as well as like a billion other people, there were 14 of us. We ended up going to the Omni Hotel, which was right down the street from our hotel, but because there were so many of us and there were some people who couldn't walk that far, we all just got into various Lyfts and Ubers. This was the night of the banquet. I don't go to the banquet, and neither does my boyfriend. We haven't for the last several years. We've either used it as a date night or a night to get together with other people outside of the hotel. I just don't think that the price is worth it, and I'm not interested in the keynote speakers generally, and there's like no point. So we went and had dinner at the Omni's restaurant, and because there were so many of us, they put us in our own room, which was honestly really cool. We were at this big, long, like wooden table. It was very rustic, very like chic barn, I would say, inside of there. The only issue is we were there for like 4 hours because they took so long serving us. I don't know if it was because of the fact that we were a big party or just like the restaurant in general was so busy, but a couple of people had to leave because the convention's kids club that they had, the kids club leaders decided that it would be fun to close the kids club at like 8 o'clock, which was stupid because the banquet didn't end until like 10. So people had to go pick up their grandkids at the kids club. Anyway, we are done. I'm very happy with how this came out. I did something different. As usual, we got 40,000 Poki for our work. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.